Welcome to the lunation situation. Today we're going to talk about the August 1st full moon occurring in the sign of Aquarius at 9 degrees and 15 minutes. So look up where that falls in your chart. This is where the full moon will blast light into a topic that you need to become aware of. This is an interesting day. It is called the Llamas, and that means that it's the height of light. And it is the midpoint between the summer solstice and the autumn equinox. So we're at the height of summer. The sun is in Leo, which is right opposite the moon. A full moon is always in opposition. And that means that is the reason why we see the moon being full circle, full with bright light. Interestingly, on the day of Llamas, the height of light, we have a full moon blasting us, blasting the night sky with light, bright light. So this is probably going to be a very important day for the occult. But if you care to bring up light into your life or lightness, awareness to certain areas in your life, then this is probably a good day for those manifestations. So full moon is of course always a closing cycle, an end to a chapter. Something is wrapping up, something is becoming full circle, just like the full moon. And the bright light that is reflected of the sun onto the moon is shedding light on topics that we didn't understand before, we didn't want to see before, and now they're coming up. They may be bubbling up, which is why a full moon can bring up a lot of emotions, and some of these emotions can be really uncomfortable. It's because there is an opposition, right? Because the sun is right opposite the moon. So we are pulled into two different kind of energies. And here, you know, the sun in Leo is very much with the heart, very courageous, very fun-loving, energetic, and expressive, creative, right? And on the opposite end, we have not the heart, but we have more of the mind, Aquarius, 9 degrees of Aquarius, and that is very much about freedom, doing it differently, doing it your way, finding a unique voice. So it is about expression. You know, these two signs, these oppositions in astrology always have similarities, right? That's why we call it an axis. So Leo and Aquarius have great similarities, they just do it differently. So there is like an underlying theme connecting them both. But here, of course, with the full moon in Aquarius, these Aquarius topics will be highlighted around this lunation. It will also be, a full moon moment will also be perhaps a harvest moment where you can reap the fruits of your labor, where you might celebrate something that you have accomplished, right? And you can look back 6 months to the new moon in Aquarius, which was probably around February, to see what happened these last 6 months and what have you accomplished, especially in the Aquarius themes. Now, what are those? As I said, it's very freedom loving. It's all about authenticity, really finding your voice, finding your unique self, embracing and loving your own quirks. You know, just like Leo, it is expressive. It's of course an air sign, so it's very intelligent. Aquarius energy is, as some say, supernaturally talented. It is ruled by Uranus, so it's a very broad perspective. You know, it's the a higher octave of Mercury. So this is truly a superior kind of mind, you know, great intelligence. And sometimes even the supernatural aspect points to a perspective that is way beyond this earth. So, you know, Aquarius taps into cosmic knowledge for some reason. And it's about knowledge, you know, they know, if you have Aquarius in your own chart, it's all about what you know. It's sort of like intuition, like I always want to say superior form of intuition. It's not superior, but it's just that you suddenly know something. You know, Uranus, that is the ruler of Aquarius, is this very fast energy. It's a sudden change, right? A sudden download. And Aquarius is like that too. You just suddenly know something. It's like suddenly it's in your system, and it's knowledge. And you may never know where it came from, how you thought of that idea, how you knew this, and it just is true. So this could be a day where you get these flashes of insights, where you get these really amazing ideas, and those are very Aquarius. You know, you can definitely trust those ideas and thoughts. Also, as I said, Aquarius is very much about freedom, freedom from any form of constraint. It's really breaking the barriers, but it's not, you know, Aquarius is very rebellious, yes, but I don't want to say for the sake of it, you know, although it can be used in that way, right? Protesting and just going against stuff, but I had a very Aquarius moment where I was biking somewhere, and I had this sort of download where I had one word that is so Aquarius, and that is defiant. You know, the Aquarius energy, Aquarius placements are defiant. They just always look at it from the other perspective than what is presented. So let's say that there is a certain way to look at things. Let's say that, you know, having children is very important. It's a very natural thing. And then, you know, Aquarius energy will hear it and then will give you a very different perspective. And it will always go against the grain. Like, it will always give you the perspective that's defiant, that's, you know, confronting the other perspective. You know what I mean? So it will say like, well, yeah, but having children isn't always that great and whatever, you know. And if it's very Aquarius, it will give you a super intelligent argument, and you'll be like, okay, maybe they're even right, you know? So it's just that different ideas, different perspectives, usually the higher perspective, you know. Uranus is the first outer planet, so Aquarius really looks at stuff from like the higher top-down perspective, where it has an overview and then can see things from different sides, can, you know, look underneath something, over something, and just see the whole picture. And then you get very different ideas and understandings. So it's about knowledge, it's about understanding, it's about awakening. And I think that could be a big role in this full moon. What are you awakening to? What's coming up for you? What's bringing to light? What do you need to understand? What do you need to gain knowledge on? How can you tap into a higher perspective on things so you understand them? And I think the house that 9 degrees of Aquarius falls in will be very informational for you to see what topics will come to light, what areas of your life you need to understand better and more about. And of course, most people associate Aquarius with humanity, and it just means that it's associated with groups, the collective, large amounts of people, and definitely humanity, because it's the opposition of Leo, where Leo is all about love and romance, which is usually associated with one person, right? So a partnership. And then the opposition of Aquarius is love for everybody, you know, everyone. So yeah, humanity. And, you know, Aquarius looks at where it's beneficial for everyone, where, you know, your goals can be aligned with the greater good for all. It's very futuristic energy as well, Aquarius. So it's all about innovation and being able to look really far ahead in time. The old ruler of Aquarius was Saturn, which is the timekeeper in astrology. So here we know that Aquarius is also very much about time. It's just ahead of time, you know. So this is where we get very innovative, very new ideas, very new understandings on where we are in life and where we need to be more authentic, where we need to find out more ideas that are beneficial for everyone, right? How we can contribute for that greater good, how our goals align with that. Aquarius also stands for the 11th house in astrology, which also is about the internet, friendships, networks, you know, so all these topics can be involved during this full moon as well. Now let's look at the chart. The lunation is actually making, I guess, in essence, only one really big aspect. And because a lunation, a full moon, is always in opposition, so the moon is in Aquarius, meaning the sun is right opposite in Leo. And when the moon is squaring something, it means automatically that it is a T-square during a full moon, right? So here we have a T-square. That means that the sun and the moon are squaring, having a tension relationship with Jupiter. And Jupiter is at 13 degrees of Taurus. So there are several ways to look at a square or a T-square. A T-square is just a heightened square, right? It's more intense. It means that there is some form of conflict, great uncomfortability towards this Jupiter aspect in the chart. I see a square or a T-square as an intense pressure for your attention, and there's something you need to look at. So it requires our focus. So the discomfort and the conflict that rises up is there to demand our attention, right? And there's something we need to look at. So to understand that, we might need to break down the Jupiter in Taurus. Now, Jupiter is a very big giant gas planet. It's huge, and it is said that it protects Earth by sucking in the debris that might otherwise destroy Earth. So that's interesting. There is a protective element to Jupiter, a protective, divine, fortunate, blessed kind of energy to Jupiter. On the other hand, because it's so big, Jupiter symbolically is seen as the planet that makes everything bigger. So it's an amplifier. Anything it touches, it just enlarges it, good or bad. Although, you know, generally it is looked at beneficial because it represents fortune, it represents blessings, right? Protection and faith, you know, it's about faith, Jupiter as well. And also higher learning, so about studying, about gaining wisdom, and then also sharing that wisdom. That's very Jupiterian as well. So there's this teacher element to it, you know, like a mentor or a coach or a literal teacher. It's about passing on your wisdom as well. And it's very philosophical. This is very big questions about the life. You know, what is life about? And that's where you gain a lot of wisdom in asking those questions and thinking about big topics. Now, when Jupiter is in Taurus, Taurus is in basicality, in its basic essence. It's about money, possessions, and also about your values, what you find important in your life. And, you know, value is related to money, but it's also related to relationships. You know, Taurus is ruled by Venus, so it's about also what feels good, you know, so what is important has to feel good as well. And Taurus also rules just our basic needs, you know, like food, shelter, safety, security. It's that first foundation we lay because it's the first earth sign. So this is where we ground in, you know, where we are ready to build. Taurus is the builder. So now if Jupiter is there, it can bring great fortune to all these Taurus areas, right? It can bring in possibly more money or more possessions, more feeling good, more potential for partnerships, and just great blessings for whatever you're building, whatever you're grounding in, whatever you're ready to secure into your life, right? But because Jupiter isn't neither necessarily good or bad, it can also, you know, heighten topics in the other direction of Taurus, where this could also emphasize, you know, hoarding shit, you know, gathering too much money, you know, being too selfish about those things. You know, if it's all about my money, my possessions, you know, that Jupiter can do that too. This could be about overindulgence of what feels good as well, you know. So if we look back to this T-square with this lunation, then the sun in Leo is saying the heart, you know. The moon in Aquarius is saying the mind. And then Jupiter in Taurus is saying the body, because Taurus is about the body and the basic needs, you know, and the 5 senses we have in our body. So there is a great need for balancing heart, body, and mind, for sure. This is also emphasizing where sometimes the Aquarius element of this full moon can be so in the mind, so logical and, like, you know, too intelligent, that it loses some of the important stuff which is the heart, which is love, which is a power beyond your mind. You know, it's also ethics, you know, what's good, what's, as I said, for the greater good, because the negative tendency of Aquarius can be selfishness, you know, where you're like, I know everything better and I know it all. And I think this tension with this T-square is like, calm down, you don't know everything, and it's great that you're getting all these ideas and, you know, knowledge, and but keep in mind, this lunation is saying that there is a great importance of the heart power, and there is a great importance of faith, of ethics, represented by Jupiter, and that you need to find a middle ground between the heart and mind, between the logical and the sort of sometimes irrationalness of the heart, and finding that balance and grounding it in to this reality. And that if you do it right, Jupiter can really bless this. It's about building a big foundation and doing that right. So I guess Jupiter in Taurus is just emphasizing kind of the last 18 months that we've sort of left behind, because the North Node has entered Aries in this chart. So we've been in the North Node Taurus energy for 18 months, and we've become familiar with the Taurus themes, you know, of finding value in what you do and doing what you find valuable, asking yourself what is truly important and feeling good for you, and to honor that, to honor your body, to honor your needs, to honor your security, to find an independent way of creating some kind of income or a money flow. You know, doing it more simple, more organic, more natural. And Jupiter with this full moon is bringing that up again, where these themes are really, really important, where, you know, you need to take a really good big look at making sure that you're being true to your authentic needs, to really what feels good on a heart, mind centered way. So even though Jupiter can bring in hedonism and extremism and like, you know, excessiveness to things, also actually Jupiter can overpromise and underdeliver. So you want to watch out for that too. And sometimes I feel that it can be a bit superficial, even though those are things you need to look out for with this T-square. There is the importance of answering those questions for yourself, to gaining knowledge on what you really want to build, and again, emphasizing the authenticity of yourself in that. This is a very long-term influence, I feel it's related to Pluto entering into Aquarius, which occurred this year, right? Currently, Pluto is retrograde, so it's not in Aquarius anymore, but it's going to enter again in 2024, and it's going to play around it until it stays in Aquarius for the next 20 years. So on that journey of Pluto staying in Aquarius, I feel that this full moon is like a checking in point and honoring the truth of your needs, your need for security, for a good foundation, of following what you want, following your heart, following your passions in a motivated sense, and just realizing it, you know, creating it, building it, just honoring yourself in the whole process. As I said, it's like an ethical checking in, like, hey man, are you on the right track? Is there something you need to look at on this journey? That, you know, life is simple and life should feel good, you know, and if it's not natural, if it's not good, if it's not feeling good, then things need to shift. And perhaps where Jupiter in Taurus gives an insight in your own chart, what area that is that may shift. What area that is that could bring you in more stability, more, what's the area where you can build, you know, the house that Jupiter Taurus falls in could give you that insight. Like, if I focus on these themes of that house topic, that's where I could create these Taurus things, like stability, like an income, like where you will feel good, you know, what you feel important. So, you know, great insights during this full moon, for sure. Then we can look at the ruler, which is Uranus, as I said, and Uranus is trining Pluto. This is giving really powerful insights, transformational insights. This is also where this energy can help us through that higher perspective to build something very solid and powerful and strong in our lives, you know. Even that could be like a mental strength or an emotional strength, or literal, the chance is high that's something material, because both Uranus and Pluto are in earth signs. So it could be that, you know, you could see material proof, like tangible something right in your life of whatever you have gained, you know, whatever you have harvested during this full moon, whatever you were able to reap the fruits of, you know, particularly in these last 6 months. Then Uranus is also squaring Venus, who is retrograde during this full moon. So, you know, all the Venus retrograde warnings and information can be found in the Venus retrograde video that I will link below, and you can watch that for further information. I'm not going to go into that, but you need to know that Venus is retrograde and will be retrograde till September 4th. So all the Venus topics you need to be careful about, which is love, money, beauty, self-esteem, all those kinds of areas are under scrutiny as she is going retrograde. So squaring with Uranus means surprising feelings, insights, in your journey of relating to people. This could be sometimes shocking revelations. This could be, you know, insights again, an awakening to how you love yourself or how you are in loving partnerships. This could be an insight into how you are with your money, how you can be better with your money. But this could also be globally, collectively. It could be that, you know, this could be some financial tension as well. This could be like, I'm not a financial advisor, so don't take me up on it, but astrologically, this could indicate some kind of a little financial crash here and there, or a crypto crash here and there, or something electronically related. Could also be energy, maybe, where there's just tension. And so something might be coming to light according finances that isn't great during this full moon. Then there is so much going on in the background that I feel that if I don't touch upon that, I will fail you. So I hope I can quickly mention a few things that are at the backdrop of this lunation, which may affect, you know, our collective energy. And that is that the Pluto T-square to the nose that I've been talking about for months, because it is actually happening since March, right? Is coming to an exact, almost exact T-square with this full moon. So not gonna lie, that is a lot of pressure, okay? The North Node and the South Node are now in Aries and Libra, respectively, at 28 degrees, and Pluto is currently retrograde in Capricorn at 28 degrees. So that makes this T-square of Pluto with the nodes near to exact, near to the minute. Pluto has been demanding truth, transparency, an intense transformation of, well, in Capricorn, of our systems, right? Any form of system, societal systems, cultural systems, but also, you know, financial systems, corporate systems, political systems, anything with authority and like hierarchy is being dealt with Pluto's force, which is trying to dig up all the dirt regarding these systems, and is trying to bring to light anything that doesn't serve the collective anymore, anything that has been abused, manipulated, been controlled, forced, is coming to light through Pluto's excavational powers. And, you know, Pluto is that transformational alchemist that just needs to bring the hidden up to light so that we see it, so that we deal with it, so that it becomes something else, right? This is just another big phase of it. You know, some things will come to light that are uncomfortable, that we will have to deal with, and that it is highly, you know, the odds are high that it's about some kind of systematic issue. And this could be also, you know, some kind of conflict, you know, some kind of a conflict that may flare up as well. And I mean with that, you know, a violent conflict. Even though I'm happy to say it's not 29 degrees anymore of the cardinal signs. But 28 degrees is a Cancer degree, the crab. So that's about security. That's about feeling at home somewhere or not. You know, this is about family and roots. So I think there's a security issue here. So that's in the background of this full moon. It's serious though. So you could really feel some kind of a pressure, you know, within this energy. And it won't be just the pressure of, you know, a full moon, which is generally pressureful. And then also that T-square to Jupiter. But then also this, in the backdrop, this heaviness that Pluto brings in, you know, because it's funny, like, you know, how I always say Pluto is that excavation energy. If you look at those machines that excavate literal dirt from the ground and bring it up, you know, they're heavy machinery. That's the name, right? They're heavy. And it just, that's what it is. It's just that heaviness, and there's so much noise going on, and it's like things are shaking and moving, and Pluto is that shaker and mover. Pluto is the grow or die, okay? So we have to grow or it will have to go, you know? So that there's a great clearing with Pluto in the backdrop, but it's uncomfortable, it's heavy. It's like walking in mud, you know? Like there's this energy that is holding you back in some kind of way. If you're sensitive, you pick up more upon this energy. If you're not that sensitive, you might not necessarily always feel it. Then there is a strong opposition of Saturn retrograde in Pisces opposite Mercury in Virgo. This is relevant because August 1st, we have Mercury going into pre-shadow phase. So Mercury is getting ready after this lunation, a few days after, to go retrograde also. So then we have both Venus and Mercury going retrograde in the summer. And this opposition between Mercury and Saturn, this seriousness, this conflict between Saturn and Mercury is not a good moment for contractual agreements. Mercury rules that, especially in Virgo. Mercury is very detailed, and normally is very good in contracts, agreements, you know, anything written or anything about organizing. But with an opposition of Saturn, it's especially in Pisces, it's sort of like unclear about things, and it's not in its normal talent, Mercury. So this is where you can overlook stuff. This is almost like a Mercury retrograde feeling, even though he's not retrograde yet. But he will go into pre-shadow, which means because Mercury is the closest planet to us, besides the moon. It is whatever Mercury does is really, you feel that. So a Mercury retrograde is super strong. And I've been feeling the last few Mercury retrogrades have been so strong. You can really feel it in the pre-shadow phase. Like, not every planet that goes retrograde in the pre-shadow can be felt so strong, but Mercury can. So August 1st is this lunation, but August 4th, when Mercury goes into pre-shadow, watch out. So this is where, you know, technical issues can come up with your phone, your laptop, whatever. This is where you need to watch out what you type, what you send. This is where you have to look at the small print, you know, whatever you agree upon, wherever you commit to, all these contracts, agreements, you know, signatures. Careful, careful, careful. Details might be overlooked, and the energy kind of starts because of this opposition with Saturn. So now you know. Also, this Jupiter that we've been talking about that is bringing pressure to this lunation is having a lovely aspect with Mars though. And this is, you know, both earth signs, so it's nice, and there's something about our goals becoming more clear, and there is a great desire to clean, to neat things up, to clarify for yourself, to deal with some of the details of your life, the routines of your life, to enhance your health and well-being, to really focus on health. It's really, really important and beneficial thanks to this trine. This is also a great position where we can improve and organize things in our lives, especially towards certain goals we have, okay? So that's also in the background. And then last but not least, 2 yods, and these 2 yods are going like continuously almost during the Venus retrograde. It's not continuous, but it's a Venus retrograde theme, and because she's involved in both the yods, and I have made a beautiful Venus retrograde video. I highly recommend you watch, right? Because this is what we are undergoing as like an umbrella of energy for the coming, give or take, 2 months. And these 2 yods are the finger of God. So it's like a divine, extra divine energy pointing us in the right direction. And one is pointing literally at Venus retrograde. So empowering the heart, empowering authentic expression. You know, standing in the limelight, standing in your courage, in your heart power. And the other one is pointing at Neptune. So that's the higher octave of love. So it's really funny that Venus in Leo is one point of the finger of God. Neptune in Pisces is the other point in the finger of God. And they both have similarities. It's just the lower octave of things and then the higher octave of things. So Venus retrograde in Leo is sort of the lower, more simple, earthly expression of creativity, of fun, of, you know, of love and romance. And then Neptune in Pisces is the higher expression of that, meaning unconditional love, divine love, creativity that is just transcending this world and having this magical emotional expression to it that touches people's heart, you know. So this is definitely, in a nutshell, a wonderful time to use your self-expression, okay? Have an emotional outlet for whatever you're feeling. To create something is a wonderful opportunity during this time. So, you know, express yourself, go sing, dance, you know, paint, write a poem, do something beautiful for yourself and others, and share this, you know, and tap into your creative power and tap into the power of love is what these two yachts in a nutshell are saying. So this lunation might be more clear-cut, you know, there's only a really big tension with Jupiter that can go both ways, and it's really up to you how that expresses. It could be a great fortunate full moon because of Jupiter, even though it's tension. As I said, it's about attention, right? So if you pay attention, this might become something really blessed for you. So you need to direct this energy into that path. But other than that, in the background, there's so much going on, and I wanted to mention that. So I hope that was clear. Happy full moon in Aquarius. Happy bright ideas. Happy wonderful perspectives that are beneficial for you and everyone else. And I will see you in the next lunation, which is the new moon in Leo. Bye.